Good morning, everybody. I am thrilled to see you. As you can see, it is a beautiful day here, and I look forward to thoroughly enjoying it, and I hope you thoroughly enjoy your day too. So, I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert, and I'm a Shiatsu massage therapist, and my specialty is helping women understand how they actually work, how their bodies work, how their minds work, and how to shape it into the life that you really want. Hey, Julie, nice to see you. How to shape their nervous system and how to shape their thoughts and get good habits into place so that they're strong enough and smart enough to really make great changes in their life. So today, hey Carrie, nice to see you. Today we're going to be talking about verbal attacks. So oddly enough, I've had a variety of them in my life lately, mostly online from people I hadn't really surrounded myself with. In the practice that I've created, I've really created a wonderfully safe space of women, hey Maria, of women and people who are kind, who know how to communicate. We work with them through stuff, and they're great relationships. But lately, I've been taking my practice, to a bigger, more international scale. Hey, Kellyanne, beyond this, my great Facebook newsfeed and the people I touch. And what's happened is I've opened myself up to verbal attacks. Now, normally this would be no big deal, but I'm a kid who comes from trauma, and I'm a kid who came from being energetically attacked and having very bad consequences happen when I didn't stand up and fly right. When I wasn't the perfect little girl, when I didn't do things the way I should have. In my mind, when I was a kid, these were really, really, really big deals. And so when something like even a random online verbal attack can come out of nowhere, what it can do is it can trigger all of those old feelings and all of those old thoughts. Hey, Allison. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had plenty of narcissists in my life, and over the years, I've learned how to be really great about it, how to set boundaries, how to, cut things off before it's a problem. But one of my specialties has been emotionally detoxing after a verbal attack, So let's say you're sitting in a chair looking out a window and someone comes up and they're in a bad mood and they've decided that you are the one that they are going to express themselves on. You're the one that they're going to pick apart, that they're going to bully, that they're going to put in some box. And at the time, we end up scrambling. We end up being like, what did I do? Why is this happening to me? We immediately go into fight or flight. And the other thing that happens, hey Christine, the other thing that happens when someone randomly verbally attacks us is it opens the door to all of our insecurities, to all of our past memories of when we've been attacked and have not stood up for ourselves. Now, for me, that was a few decades. I spent a few decades taking whatever emotion I had and pressing it down out of the way, trying to ignore it, detach, make the best of it, and move forward. All the while, those emotions ended up stuck in my psyche because I really didn't have any place to move them, and I didn't know how to move them. I didn't know how any of this worked. So let me give you a paradigm. Let me give you a thought process. Emotions, the emotions you feel, happy, sad, angry, morose, even disassociated. Those are all chemicals. They're all physical things that you can touch and measure. And these chemicals, when we aren't allowed to express ourselves, like the person who's verbally attacking us, of course, they're fairly healthy because they're able to express how they feel all the time, no matter what it does for anybody. But me, I'm not that sort of a person. I don't like doing that. And so what happens is those chemicals, when we judge it, when we don't give ourselves a safe place to express them, they get absorbed into our organs. They get absorbed into our tissues, and they actually start to cause inflammation, blockages, cellular waste builds up, circulation's impeded, and it can turn into something that's bigger, much bigger. Heart problems or systemic problems, rheumatoid arthritis or fibro, or it can turn into regular arthritis, or it turns into things, IBS. And when we're stressed and we're not allowed to express how we feel in any way, we are actually making ourselves more toxic. Now, the beautiful thing about someone triggering us, about someone coming in and randomly verbally attacking us, and so that door opens and we're flooded by emotion, by all those old emotions and painful emotions. When we're flooded by those, is it's a perfect opportunity to detox all of the stuff from the past. Because this is how it works. Someone comes in, they attack us, they open the door, we're flooded by our emotion, but now if we don't judge it, it's able to flush out of our system. It's able to come out through our breath, because that's one way that we detox, or our tears, or our sweat, or our pee. It comes out. Those chemicals that we've been storing in all of those organs that have been hidden away from, when we were 5 and bullied, all of that stuff is still in our body. And so when someone comes along and opens that door, it allows all of those chemicals to be dumped into our system. So how do we detox them? I'll give you a 3-step process that I use every single time. So when I'm in the middle of an emotion, when I've been flooded, the first thing I do is I get out of the situation. If I'm in something, I get out of the situation. And I've been created a PDF, which I'll be putting out on Facebook soon, on 5 scripts that you can use when you're verbally attacked to get you out of the situation easily. Once you're out of the situation, you need to be physically present with what you're feeling. Now, here's the trick. A lot of people think that the negative thoughts that they're having about how they feel, I'm no good, I'm a failure, everything's wrong, you don't have to think those things when you're going through a detox. You don't have to let yourself beat yourself up and fall into the trap of thinking that you'll never figure it out and why shouldn't you bother. You don't have to fall into that trap. You can be present with how you feel, the heaviness, the nausea in your stomach, maybe the pain in your shoulder, maybe the tension in your head. If you're present to it, then your body's able to flush it out of your system. And you don't have to attach any thoughts to it. You don't have to think this means blah, blah, blah. All you need to do is be present to it. Now, what's going to happen is you are going to be thinking things. So stuff is going to come up. The best way to deal with those is, I'm scared they're going to, let's say you have a thought, I'm scared they're going to do this again. I'm scared I'm going to walk into the office tomorrow and I'm going to be blindsided. All of these fears and anxieties will come up. I want you to write them down as you're thinking them, as they come up. So you feel it, you be present with it, so make sure you're in a safe space, where nobody's going to interrupt you. You be present with it, and you write down the problems or the concerns or the worries or anxieties that you have. Because I promise you, on the other side of feeling, hey Lynn, on the other side of feeling whatever it is that you're feeling, that anger, that fear, that heaviness, that depression, that anxiety, on the other side of it are the answers to those fears that you write down. Hey Phyllis. So you've got your list, let's say 4 or 5 things. I'm scared I'm going to walk into the office tomorrow and they're going to blindside me again. You be present with the emotion, and once you've detoxed it, and it happens pretty quick, let's say you have a big cry, or let's say you automatically have to go to the bathroom. Those are 2 things that would work for me. Or you'd find that suddenly you got hungry, or you were taking a deeper breath. All those are detoxing, or maybe you were sweating. All those are detoxing, and it happens pretty quick. On the other side of that detox, you'll be able to look at those same problems that you wrote down, and you'll be able to navigate your way through. You'll be able to see some solutions. You'll be able to see how you're going to handle it next time, maybe what you're going to say. Or it'll motivate you to get a specific tool or look something up on Google to find a solution or an answer to whatever your fear was. When you're no longer being hijacked by all of those old emotions that the verbal attack triggered, when you're not being hijacked and overwhelmed by them, you get clarity of mind. You get clear thinking, and the answers appear to you. You don't have to find the solutions. On the other side of the emotion, the answers magically appear. So this process is important because, 1, you need to detox the past And that's what this trigger is doing. It's detoxing the past if you're present to it and don't attach too many thoughts to it, too many, you don't believe the things that you're thinking, let's say. You recognize that, okay, the things that I'm thinking are a reflection of what I'm going through. You keep that little bit of observer. And then you write down the things you're anxious about, and then on the other side, you relook at those things, and you come up with the solutions, or at least the next thing you're going to do about it, so you don't have to stay scared. Verbal attacks, as uncomfortable as they are, as much as emotional as they can make us, and sometimes even emotion is disassociating, because we've done it so many times, and it's so painful for us that we have to disassociate. I've got a friend of mine that when they express their emotions, when they talk about what they feel, they have to play the guitar, or they have to knit, or they have to be washing dishes, or they have to be shoveling snow. Many times we need to be doing something else to keep our frontal lobe, our conscious mind out of the way so that we can keep feeling and staying open to it. So if you need to have a something like that, be okay with that. Use it, because it will help you stay present and detox all of those old emotions. And then I can almost guarantee on the other side, you will start to see solutions and clarity. You'll get wisdom and understanding, and you won't be so conflicted inside of you, because that conflict is you remembering all of those times that you didn't stand up for yourself, or couldn't stand up for yourself, or couldn't change the situation, or were forced to be a victim, were forced to endure something for your own safety. Even if it was just, if it wasn't true, it was going to turn out that way, you thought it was true, and that's good enough. That's good enough. So here's the process. You get triggered, you stay present with it. If you can't be present with it right then, you tell yourself, you know what, we're going to sit down tonight, we're going to have a detox time. You make a time to detox this. I detox my stuff every morning for about 10-15 minutes. You give yourself that safe space to detox. You go into it, you feel the pain and the anger and the fear and the worries and all of the negative thoughts and feelings. You let yourself be present to them without any judgment. And then you write down the things you're worried and anxious about as they come up into your mind. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. I'm never going to figure this out. Why should I bother? What's the point? This doesn't serve me. What if they do it again? You write down all of those things and let yourself just keep feeling and keep detoxing. And then on the other side, drink some water to help flush out anything else that's there. Hey, Mima, drink some water to make sure you get things flowing. And then relook at that list and look for the solutions and the truths and the understandings and the wisdoms that you now have, because you're not in an emotional fog that's being based on all the other past traumas that are associated or triggered by this verbal attack. Okay? It's not that complicated of a process. And once you get good at it, you're able to have something come up and let it go pretty quickly. It hits you, hey Brenda, it hits you, it comes up, and you can let it go. Once you strengthen that muscle, you're able to really navigate those rocks in the stream. You're able to navigate other people's emotions and other people's problems so much better and gracefully, because you don't have that buildup of emotional toxins, and you know how to let it flow through you in a very natural, organic way. And as a side effect, you become stronger, you become more peaceful, you start setting boundaries, the bullies stop bothering you and attacking you, you get a different job, you get a different spouse, you get a different place that you live. You make changes. You make very positive, wonderful changes in your life when you start doing this healing work, okay? So cool. If you feel stuck, private message me. I work with women one-on-one with coaching. We do workshops all the time. I'm going to have a series coming up on narcissists where I'm going to be meeting with a number of different experts and doing individual interviews on how to use tapping and astrology and spirituality and hemp oil and juicing and all of those things, learning how it applies as a tool to dealing with this extremely selfish and self-absorbed and narcissistic world that we find ourselves in. Okay, cool. So like, love, share, comment on other people's comments, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you tomorrow.